My video for September the 18th, 2018, it is video number 2850, and it's entitled Living in a Topsy-Turvy World. Is there a dark agenda? How is it that those who are referred to as the elite seem to get away with heinous crimes where no law, moral or otherwise, applies to them? They thrive on lies. As it says in the Bible, Satan, the great deceiver, was a liar from the beginning. It is claimed by Gnostics that the 3D world is a dark creation. I'm only beginning once again to get into the Secret Garden series by John Panella. He seems to present a logical explanation as to why this world is so insane and why the Bible has so many obvious contradictions. The jealous God of the Old Testament was insecure because he was opposing the actual creator of all that was. I say it that way because all that is, to me, seems inside out and upside down. You could call this a topsy-turvy world. It sure seems inverted when the so-called elite seem to get away with all sorts of real crimes against humanity and life itself. It seems to many of us that these rat bastards are working hard to ensure that if they cannot be in control, they will destroy everything. I hope they are not capable of doing that. I hope the real God takes action. The question I keep asking is, will divine law finally be restored, bringing balance and harmony to a mad, mad world? I don't want to die to get to heaven. I want heaven on earth while I'm still alive. Now, if the Gnostic interpretation of reality is correct, the physical world is truly just an illusion or a delusion. The real world is what we would call the unseen world, or the invisible world. It's invisible to us in 3 dimensions, and that makes some sense because if they turned off our codons, as I think happened, I mean, there are things in our DNA that are considered junk DNA by the scientists and people that investigate such things. But I don't believe that any of our DNA is actually junk. I think codons have been turned off. And that perhaps would be an explanation as to why the world is so inverted. Everything is inside out and upside down, and it's a topsy-turvy world, as I said in the title of this video. It's insane when the most devious and obviously malevolent beings seem to be the kings and queens and presidents and other names for dictators. Now, there have been, throughout history, some benevolent beings that have been in control for a period of time, or been in leadership positions anyway for some period, but it never lasts, and it seems to be progressively getting worse. And of course, some say it's getting worse because the dark side or the evil ones know that their time is up. But what does that mean for the rest of us? Do we have to die to get to another place where justice means something, where love and peace and gentleness and kindness and the fruits of the Spirit actually are of value? They certainly are not of value to those that want to be in charge, that those that claim rulership and divine right of kings, or whatever you want to call them, the Illuminati or the royals or whatever you want, whatever label you want to pin on them, they have been very malevolent to those, at least from the perspective of those of us that want a world of truth and want a world where things make sense. This world to me doesn't make sense, and yet he makes it clear that the answer is not suicide, because that'll just keep you recycling and you will not have learned. You've got to hang in there despite the insanity, despite the obvious contradictions of what we are told is our high moral and ethical values and the values by which the establishment is operated. These are questions that we all must face, and I wrestle with them all the time. I really, truly want to see justice and sanity restored, not somewhere else, but here, now. And I don't agree with Mr. Panella. I don't agree that this world is just an illusion. I know I've heard it said lots of times, but I don't agree with that. And I don't want it to be just an illusion. I want the actual loving God to be all and in all, and all that is. I want a world that works for everyone of good intent. And see, there's the key of good intent. The liar from the beginning did not have good intent. He, she, it, whatever that is, wanted to impose its will on everything and everyone. It's why the DNA was doctored. Folks, what's it going to take for humanity to awaken when so much deception seems to be the way of it? It's the deceivers that seem to be in control. And I still wonder about Donald Trump. I still wonder about anything that is in the media. I still wonder about lots of stuff that's on the internet. And I really want to know that my life as a physical being has not been in vain, that there's real purpose to it, real meaning for me, and not just for me, but for all those of goodwill in whatever race, religion, whatever faction of human culture there is. I know there are people like me that want to do the right thing and want to help others and want to listen. Folks, I'm going to close with asking those of you that can to share my videos. I am concerned that the numbers seem to be decreasing, and I don't completely understand why. There's some irregularities. I had to shut off and reboot my computer twice today just to get it to start responding. And the video that I was playing the music overnight stopped working at some point in the middle of the night. And I don't know why these things are happening. But I'd like to have you that listen choose to share it on your Facebook page or whatever. And I appreciate that. Thank you again. Namaste.